welcome back to my channel. As part of my Utada Hikaru musical marathon, I am reviewing all of her work until a new album, Phantom, comes out this month. And today I'll be reviewing her second international album, Exodus. Before we get started, I want to remind you that this is simply my opinion on the album. We all have different thoughts on it, and I would gladly hear yours in the comment section down below. Exodus is a very special album for Utada Hikaru's career, as it is her second but most commercialized full English album, made especially for audiences intentionally. Quite a task to achieve here, as getting into the US music market ended up being quite difficult compared to the Japanese one. Exodus is an album that did not do well commercially outside of Japan, and it is actually the first album from Utada Hikaru that I heard through a couple of songs back in 2006, and I remember that I wasn't too much of a fan of it back then. It took me a couple of years to really appreciate the album, and it is quite an experimental album to get into. It does keep a more traditional Japanese electropop music sound, dealing with some elements that are classical, like on the bridge for Devil Inside Me, or even on the song Exodus 04, which is something quite interesting, as this type of instrumentals never were as pronounced in her Japanese albums as it is on this one. Exodus does deal with so much experiments on it that it tends to be quite a messy album, switching from one electronic song with a certain flavor to another one completely different, and that for me makes it really hard to get into the album on a listening point of view, because you have to go through almost 1 hour of this constant switching, which is not as easy as listening to a couple of songs from it here and there. Overall, Exodus is a very particular album for Ike's career outside of Japan, but I feel like it was a bit too much of a mess to really appeal to foreign audiences back then. Even though now I do see the value of it, as I feel like that it has aged quite well in over 10 years, but I also see the problems it carries along, which mostly resides in the lack of a clear musical theme to establish itself out there in a more coherent manner. I give the album 3 stars. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to tell me what you think of the album down below, and I'll see you next time for my review of Ultra Blue.